Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening. It's Wednesday. It's June 12th. So excited to talk to you this evening. I cannot tell you, it's been an awesome week, few days for me personally. I mean, even before then, it's been an awesome several months. But I'm excited to talk to you about the market and some stuff that's going on right now. And there's some new data coming out that just came out that I wanted to kind of talk to you and go through a few things with you as far as how to plan and strategize. Should you buy now? Should you not? It might depend on your situation, but we'll get into that. But it's going to be a little bit of a shorter live this evening. The reason is because my wife and I just gave birth to, my wife did, our first child this past week. And it has been an amazing few days. It has been a significant day-to-day, shift, especially in the last few days. It's been everything I was hoping and more. I love it so much. It meaning fatherhood. It's only been 6 days, but also I love her, my daughter. It's our first, and I'm very excited about it. And so it's just been thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate that. And oh, congratulations. Thanks, Cheryl. And so again, it's been a kind of a wild few days and just getting back into a routine. And if you've reached out to me in the last few days, I will get back to you. And I apologize if things are taking a little bit longer than that last few days. We're getting back into a normalcy, if you will. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Very excited. I kind of feel like you guys, as we're dialoguing, as I hear from all of you over the last weeks, months, even years now. I feel like in some regards, you guys are like my extended family. I wanted to tell you, hey, this is what's going on, and I'm really excited about it. So, PBL, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so, new ride, new season. We'll see what happens. So, anyway, but I know you didn't come to listen to me talk for a while about my girl, which I will if you want me to. But talking about the market, and so we are now about to be in the middle of June, and this is the end of what is typically the spring busy season, right? So April, March, really even sometimes, but March, April, May, and June are those primary months. And so what you can expect is in that time frame, you expect more houses to go on the market in that time frame, but also more houses to sell, but also more buyers actually actively looking, right? So what does that mean? It often means that demand goes up, prices go up. Unless there is a significant just deluge of houses that hit the market that supersede the supply, there are just usually the season is enough to just justify those prices increasing usually at the highest rate of any time of year. And so what I always tell people is, hey, look, if you got to buy in the springtime, that's fine. Just know that there'll be more options in that time frame, which is also great, but you'll be paying more for those houses relative to what you may have expected. And the reason I say that is because sometimes people will want to wait until summertime or fall to buy a house, which I'll talk about why I like that idea in a minute. But the reason to wait is not necessarily to get it drastically cheaper. Because what happens is when a house goes in the market in April, May, the price increases, right? Or relative to maybe in January or February. But now when those houses close, those are the new comparable sales for the next houses that sell in those areas. So when you buy in July, August, September, October, November, you will find more people. Well, you'll find more opportunities to have a less competitive house, but it doesn't always necessarily mean it will be a cheaper house. Sometimes, yes. Because as demand goes down in the market in general, you'll have those times where you maybe of 10, maybe 7 or 8 might not change much, but you'll have a couple that, they got to sell quicker. They can't afford to wait. And there's just less people that want to buy that specific house. Boom, you're ready to go. You got yourself a better deal. But that being said, it's just there are less people in that time period, especially in August beyond, because people don't want to deal with moving in the middle of the school year, getting your kids enrolled, all that kind of stuff. And that's not just Virginia Beach. That's through Williamsburg. That's probably just nationally too. But here specifically, it's a pretty big thing. There are also a lot of military personnel changing stations, especially now here going into July, August. That is happening a lot. And so there's sometimes an uptick in demand in that time of year when the military comes in. It's just a slight uptick just because while the military does hold, I think it's the largest job market in the area. I think it's the largest. It's the largest base station in the area, in the country, I believe. But in relative to the entire market, it's still not, it's not 100% of the market, right? So it's a blip, but anyway. So that being said, August beyond is a time where I always say, hey, if you want a little bit easier go of it, you don't mind maybe the chance of a price increase, but sometimes getting a little bit better deal, like legitimately a better deal. If you wait and through into the summer, late summer into the fall time period, you can get opportunities that will pop up. And I'm going to show you some numbers, some of the new numbers that came out based on May data. And I'll share my screen. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. So this right here, this is the median sales price in Virginia Beach, specifically Virginia Beach in May of 2024. Okay. So what do you see here? I'm going to zoom in. What do you see? So 469, pretty high relative to what the rest of the history of Virginia Beach, highest ever, really. And again, remember, median sales price is the middle. If you have 99 houses in an area that sell, it's the 50th house in that, it'd be the median, right? So you're looking at a trend based on the amount of houses that sell and where the general trajectory of those houses are. So when you see median sales price, it doesn't tell the entire story, but it definitely gives you an indication of what the market's doing. So if you notice here, I keep preaching this, it's cyclical, right? Cyclical. 2022, April, May, then June starts dropping down, but then going into August, September, October, it kind of flounders around. Going into 2023, June going down, September going down into the end of the year, December, January. Usually the highest point of any given year is around July. There's August. That was also COVID year, so that was also a factor there. You'll find May, July, October, but also June. There's July. You see a bump there. So my point is that we are in May, and this is the highest median sales price we've had ever. That is not going to change. It's going to stay the same. It is going to change. It will probably drop down somewhere in that 440 range and then flounder around in the fall months, most likely. But if you notice too, is that the difference between like last year, June of 2023, down into the lowest sales price median of last year, the percentage difference between the highest and lowest is about the same as this year. I did the math. It's around 14 to 15%. And the same goes for 2022. Was it 416, 950, 417 to 365? Same. It's the percentage increase, even in the crazy years, that percentage increase is about the same. So going back, just keep in mind that the prices are still increasing even after the rates have increased, during the time that, the frenzy, if you will, of the last 2-3 years has gone down. The prices are still increasing. Why is that? Well, because it's like, the rates are not dropping. We all expected the rates to drop. I don't know if everybody did, but point being is that the reality is a lot of the experts, if you think you're an expert, you're often proven wrong at some point. So it's realistic in my mind. Honestly, it's like, hey, I am wrong all the time, and I think it's important to be able to admit that, right? So the experts are saying one thing. It didn't happen. We're still in the sevens. Like you'll see some maybe drop below 7, but it's really in that 7 range. That's not what people were hoping might happen. People hoping to be in the 5s, but it's not happening. So that's not hurt prices either, right? So looking at back to the statistics, whoops, where are we at? Oh, let's go to, no. Where are we at? There we go. Let's go to median days on market. So in Virginia Beach, see that? 8 days in the market. So all that talk from 2021, 22, oh, the market's going to change 23, 24. Okay, 8 days. That's as low as a majority of 2022. I'd say it was busier in 2022, even in the prime year months. You see down there. And then 8 days last year. And then 2021 was in that same range as well. The busiest was probably 2021 early spring, but I mean that was the peak 2021 22, and we're still in that same general time days on market range. Why is that? Month supply and inventory. That's part of the reason why. 1.1 months supply of inventory on the market. What does that mean? It means, well, so it shows down here, month supply of inventory is the number of months it would take to sell through the available inventory, meaning houses on the market, at the current sales rate. So you see here, 2022, 23, 1 point, all the 1 points went up as high as 2.1 in the fall. We'll mention that in a minute. But at the peak of each of that year, last year, 0.9. And right now we're at 1.1. So cyclically, we're pretty much on target from what is even happening last year and the year before that. So we're not changing much. The prices are still increasing. So now what do? Do prices go up even more? Personally, I think that they probably will, maybe for the next month. I think July is going to still be another month of increase, but then we're going to start seeing that decrease of median sales price. But here's what happens. When you're looking at a house in the fall or even in the late summertime, in the wintertime, think about this. When someone puts a house in the market in September, October, or August, what are they often doing? Or what's the reason behind that, right? Well, if you list a house in March, April, May, oftentimes you're doing it to time yourself around the summer holiday, or what? School's out, right? Or listing a house in June, July, because you want to make sure it's sold before school starts the next year. Well, that's the springtime, right? Well, think about the reason why people would do it in the fall. Well, they may have to sell, right? Or they may want to, but if they want to, how many people want to, but also want to in that time period? Not as many people that have maybe 4-bedroom houses, 5-bedroom houses. Why? Because they don't have as many, school situations to work around, maybe because not as many people want to move in the middle of the school year. So what happens? The median sells, well, the amount of houses that sell often drop, but also the types of houses that sell in different times of the year often change. I don't have any data to show you right now about what that exactly is, but just think about it practically speaking from a lifestyle perspective. If you're planning to move with kids, what do you want to do? You want to do it when it's the easiest, most likely, and then often when it's the most likely to be able to get the most for your house and transition easily. So it's not going to often happen in in August, September, October, November, right? So more houses, in my opinion, and I can't statistically show this to you right now, proof, but I'm pretty sure I could show this somehow, is that less houses that will sell in the fall months, late summer months, that are larger or have more bedrooms, because the people that sell those houses, generally speaking, may have a larger family and might need to relocate in a more opportune time. So then what does that mean? It might mean that the median sales price might be affected by that, because the type of house might lend itself to someone who might not need as big of a house, right? And so with that comes a drop in median sales price. So why do I say that? I say that because when you see these statistics, like median sales price drop, like, oh, it means I can get a better deal on a house, right? I'm going to go back and show it to you. I can look at this and I can say, oh, median sales price is going to drop into the fall months, down like in the October, November, December, right? Or whenever. Well, that's true. That's true. You might find a better deal in the fall. However, The problem is, again, it's finding the right house in the fall, because the median sales price means it can also just mean that the volume of houses shifts in price down, because the types of houses that sell more frequently in the fall shift down in smaller sizes, for example. So depending on what you're looking for, you might have a better chance or less chance of finding more options to get what you want in the August and beyond time period. Does that make sense? So, should I buy or not, Sam? Well, to me, my opinion, my general blanket statement in that is always do it based on um, your personal life situation. So if what I'm saying here doesn't apply to you, might change, because it's very hard to time the market. Just like it's very hard to guess what interest rates are going to be in a week or 10 or a month or whatever, because everybody has their own idea. But then what happens is narratives start being built, and sometimes those narratives are wrong. So you got to base things off of current as much as possible, but also what your current situation is, and does it make sense? I would not suggest buying a house right now if it's stretching you beyond what you're comfortable with. But in my mind, it's like I'm thinking a year beyond. What do I think next year is going to look like? There are a lot of things that can happen between now and next year. It's very hard to forecast it. But what we need for prices to drop significantly, like a house that you were buying at 600 or 500 or whatever, being now 450, 425, 400, whatever, that's going to require a significant change in the market to where there are enough houses, going back to the the month supply of inventory. We need the numbers up in here. 4, 3 even could help, but sorry, 4s, 5s, 5 months of supply. That's going to at least much faster stabilize the prices in the area. And it's not just Virginia Beach. It's Williamsburg. It is Newport News, Hampton. We're talking about all through Chesapeake, New Norfolk, Suffolk, Portsmouth, all through the area, Smithfield, Isle of Wight. I'm just throwing out names now at this point. But that's going to be what's needed. And what's going to happen then? I think what will happen then is, I think that what will be needed for that to happen, I think that we'll probably need interest rates to drop, because people that have that 3% interest rate, who wants to sell into a 7% interest rate with a much higher sales price? It's just expensive. Why would you do that? You do it if you wanted to, really wanted to, or unless you had to. But some people that would just choose to move aren't wanting to move right now. That's what's driving those prices up, because there are still people that will want to buy houses because there aren't enough houses to even fit the people that are wanting to move. So it's still the supply demand thing. It's always a supply demand thing. So again, it's like, well, where are the distress sales, the foreclosures? They're not happening because the people that are owning houses have those low interest rates, and they're well-qualified people. So I'm just not seeing it. So we're going to need to see something to make the housing numbers, the amount of houses that hit the market, to be high enough to really affect those prices. And this is a big question. And this is more of the technical side. And, if this is not your thing, forgive me. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop your question below. And I'm kind of talking on theory right now. Where's my little questions? Well, where are you watching from? There you go. There it is. Sorry, going through my program here. With interest rates being as high as they are, it will take, in my opinion, maybe going into the 5% range, 5.5% or lower, to give enough people a reason to sell, or to start selling, to start making that number really go up, to get to the 2 months on inventory, 3 months on inventory, get enough houses on the market to make it to where you can get a solid deal, right? But because what I think might happen is that, and I'm not sure about this, I'm still working through this theory, is either sometimes when you have interest rates that drop, there are enough people that are waiting on the sidelines to buy because, okay, I'm waiting for my interest rate to drop before I get in the market. Okay, great. Well, that can potentially raise the prices even more. Okay, that's one theory. Another theory is the interest rates drop, but then prices drop, because there are enough people that are willing to sell at that point to really affect the supply-demand curve. I'm not sure which one that's going to be, but I'm leaning more towards the potential of prices dropping at that point. But I'm not convinced that point is anytime soon. So If you're planning to buy in the next few months, in my opinion, the number one month between now and the end of the year is possibly August. Why is August important? Between, I'd say August 4th, 5th, is first-ish week of August into the 3rd to 4th, almost the whole month, but there's a window of about 3 weeks to where it's almost like a desolate market. Now, granted, there are fewer houses that hit the market in August. So that's, again, I mentioned that before, but if you can look in August and you have the ability to, and like you have the time and flexibility, the right house hits the market in August, there will be less houses that are going to hit in that month, or less people that want to look. And if you get the right house that hits, you can cash in pretty well. You can do well. So in my opinion, August is great. Next month to me would be possibly December, or November. Holidays is always great to buy if the right house comes up. Same idea. The reason is because less people are looking. Problem is less people are selling. Same idea. But anywhere, even still, September, October, I'd say are also pretty key times, pretty good times, because I think there are enough people that are willing to sell in those time periods to time out the break, the seasonal break, to where if you're willing to look, there are enough houses that do come up in that time period to, I think, give you some flexibility, some options to go with. So point being is that I think that I'm a big fan of buying in the fall in any general market. And then buying in the spring if you have to. Because again, it's just like, I think that there are less people that you can have to compete with in that fall time period. So should you buy right now? In my opinion, I'm still leaning yes, but I would understand if you decide not to. I would say yes only if you can and if the right house comes up. Otherwise, again, there's no reason to push it. There's no reason to force the issue. Houses aren't going to go away in a year or in 6 months. I'm always a big fan of getting maybe a 6-month rental, and in that fall time period, waiting for the right moment and then going after the house then. There's no reason to feel like you have to go after a house specifically just, in July or June. Oftentimes people, I feel like, make more bad decisions based on a sense of urgency, as opposed to just waiting for the right moment. And you don't have to buy now. Like, it's okay to rent. You know what I mean? You're hearing me say that, like, why is it okay to rent? I don't believe in it. I think you're paying someone else's interest, so quote unquote. But I think it's as important to be mentally prepared for whatever stage of life that you're coming into, as much as anything. And I made bad decisions. I made bad decisions buying. Like, it was in my early 20s. My first house I bought, should not have bought that house from the standpoint of it was a bad financial decision. This is back in 2006. Market crash, all that kind of stuff happened. It was obviously, well, yeah, of course it was a bad decision, but I was not mentally prepared to do it, is what I'm saying. So it could have been a great idea to buy at that point. If I held that house, I would have been in a good position right now, for that house as a rental right now. But it was a bad decision to me from the standpoint of I was not mentally prepared for it. Now I can always you can turn that into a positive and say, well, I made good decisions. I learned a lot from that experience. But my point is to say that in that moment, I didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? So all I have to say is it's okay to have not just money right, but mind right, whatever that looks like, right? So, Cheryl, lived in Virginia Beach in the 80s until mid 90s. Awesome. Think about moving back. Oh, it's changed a lot. Have you been since? Miss the 80s prices. Also get it. My parents bought their house in 87 for $60,000, $62,000. Gotcha. Live in Arkansas now. Oh, very cool. Very close friends in Jonesboro. Hurry up fall. I hear you. I love the fall just for a lot of reasons, but I also love the weather right now is amazing. It has been about mid 70s, and in cooler in the evenings. It's been amazing. I love spring and late spring in Virginia Beach, and the whole area. Trey, hey Trey, how you doing? How's the housing market going to be affected when the Fed drop the interest rate with a rate cut? This likely be 2007, 2008. So that's a good question. It really comes down to, when is that going to happen? And I think it's going to happen eventually, but the question is when. And that kind of goes back to the question, the thing I was answering before, which is, will that prices go up when the rates drop, or the prices go down when the rates drop? I'm leaning towards prices drop, and I'm willing to be wrong. I'm obviously willing to be wrong there, but I mean, I'm not, I haven't firmed up my opinion on that yet. So yeah, maybe come back to me in a few months, and that's where we'll see. I'll start seeing trends as the rates start going down when that happens. If it happens, what if it goes up, right? What if it goes to 9 or 10? Different conversation. But my point is that if they go down, I'll be looking for trends to see what happens, and probably be able to start kind of saying, hey, making some suggestions based on the new trends I might be seeing. So yeah, that's the kit and caboodle for this evening. For all that, I remember I do have a newborn who is now 6 days, and actually 5 days, 23 hours, and 49 minutes old. So we're still counting the minutes. I miss her back when she was 3 days. Oh man. Super excited to be a dad just before Father's Day. So my dad and I will be able to celebrate Father's Day for the first time together, which is going to be awesome on Sunday, and his birthday. So another personal slide in there at the end. But so I think I'm going to close this out this evening, but I wanted to share all that with you. I just really wanted to touch base, connect with you. And again, if you're reaching out to me, please know that I will get back to you. It's been a busy few days. So we're going to get back on track. And if you plan to relocate, let me know. It's what I do. Jack Shoekeeper. Awesome. Thank you very much. Brian, thank you very much. I'm super excited, and thank you, Trey. Love it. I'm very grateful. My life has forever changed already, and I'm not. That's, I guess anybody that has kids, like, oh, of course, that's how it works, Sam. I didn't know how much it was going to affect me until it happened. So, yeah, I'm sorry. It was great. It's great. Yeah, life is different, and I'm excited. So yeah, contact me anytime. If you have questions, you can email me too. There's my email address, and my website is a lot of my same name over and over again. There's shocker. As long as you can spell my last name, you're good. But it's hard to tell people my last name over the phone. It's like, oh gosh. Anyway, that's all for this evening. Excited to talk to you. Have a great evening. Enjoy the springtime. And as always, ask me questions if you have any questions. And I will see you on the next video next Wednesday. Every week, I'll do this over and over again like I always do. It's been 5.5 years, and I'll keep doing it. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.